So the more we get settled in to the new regime that the Chargers have, the more we realize that they're kind of open to anything. And we're starting to hear that from different news sources and different outlets that they're willing to trade 3 of their best and biggest paid players. And so we're going to talk about those 3 players, what those trades could look like, what they could get for them, and of course, how much money it would save them. And then at the end, we'll talk about the overall cap situation and kind of get into that. But before we do that, hey, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. So much fun doing Chargers content here. It's not our first channel. We have another one, Sports Talk Detroit. You can see that. Sports Talk Extra is another channel of ours. And now Sports Talk Chargers. We followed Harbaugh. We're big Michigan fans. We followed to the West Coast. So anyways, wanted to talk about that. If you haven't yet to do so, we're already over 2,000 subs. Please subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. If you're a first-time watcher, wait till the end of the video, then cast your judgment. All right, so there's been some trade rumors that are going around, and that is that the Chargers are open to Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa offers ahead of 2024 free agency. In other words, they like to get a trade done. There's been a couple of trades that have been going on around the NFL. Jerry Jeudy is going to the Browns. You've got Mac Jones going to the Jags. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But now we're starting to get in some of the bigger name players. And does anybody want one of these guys? I know a team that might want them. All right, so we can kind of talk about what that looks like. But they're open to offers on both. Mac is entering the final year of a $141 million contract, and Bosa is in the 4th of a 5-year, $135 million contract. Mac was by far a better player last year. He stayed healthier. Bosa, once again, I believe has only played 16, 14 something games over the last 2 years. He only played 9 games last year. It would save the team $22 million in dead money with Bosa. And with Mac, it would save them even more. It would save them $23.2 million. Okay? So as you're reading this down here, when it says for Bosa $22 million and with a dead money charge of 14.6, you don't subtract them. All right? I'll show you what I mean by this. All right? With Khalil Mack, down here, you can see my mouse and make it big. Down here is where his cap hit is $38 million. The dead cap is $15 million. So if they cut him, they get the difference between those two, the $23 million with a cut. All right? So that's where you kind of get this money right here, $23 million. So that's what you're looking at for him. You save $23 million. With Joey Bosa, he's in this contract year right here, all right, in the 4th out of 5. He has a $36 million cap hit. You have to pay $22 million no matter what, so you save about $14 million. With Mike Williams, all right, right here, $32 million is what he's owed. You lose $12 million of that. It would be exactly $20 million. But now the question becomes, how much does a team have to pay to get each of these players? Well, in the case of Khalil Mack, he has a base salary of $17,550,000 that would have to be paid by the new team. I know that for a fact. It's hard to find other spots. I believe they also would have to pay the roster bonus. So you're looking at roughly $23 million to keep Khalil Mack this next year, and then he's off the book. So it's a 1-year, $23 million contract. Joey Bosa, $15 million. And then you have the roster bonus of $7 million. So it would be $22 million this year, and then it would be roughly $25 million the year after that. I remember when the Detroit Lions traded for Jared Goff, that's similar how it was as well, because they're not due for the $22 million that is being paid by, the new team wouldn't be due the $22 million here in dead cap. They just have to pay the other stuff. That's why it goes that way. With Mike Williams, same deal, $17 million plus $3 million. So a team would have to pay $20 million this year for Mike Williams. So the Mike Williams one, based on this article, it says that the Chargers would love to trade Khalil Mack or Mike Williams. They're open to Bosa. And I think that's because Mack or Williams give them more money. I bet they would love to trade Mike Williams, but is anybody willing to pay $20 million for a wide receiver that's coming off a serious injury and is 30 years old? I don't know. I don't know if they are. So let's look at what this trade could look like. I think the most likely person to be traded is Khalil Mack. I think he's the most likely to be traded because he has been not injury prone. He is due, if you have him on your team this year, it's $23 million, which is heavy. Okay, but for a guy who had 17 sacks last year, he should be getting paid $20+ million, $20 to $25 million. So, yeah, it's heavy, but it's just this year. And if a team wanted to, they could add years. They could convert into signing bonuses and then spread it out over the years afterward, honestly, a team could get Khalil Mack for like $5.8 million this year. All right, now, if they didn't get to re-sign him or restructure after that, they would then have dead cap next year of almost $18 million. So it's not what I would suggest doing, but they could. So I think good teams for Khalil Mack are teams like the Detroit Lions, right? You see the Hutch jersey back there. I think Khalil Mack would be really good on the opposite side of Hutch. A guy that's good against the run, very good against the pass. The Lions have a ton of money this year, but they don't want to have a bunch of money tied up into guys years after that. So they can draft their D end of the future and then bring in Khalil Mack for this year. I think even a team like the Bears or the Texans or all these teams, the Patriots, teams that have large salary cap numbers. But for a team to take a 1-year flyer on Khalil Mack, not a flyer, it's just a 1-year rental, they need 1-year lease. How about that? That sounds better. They would need to be a team that's like, we're going to make a push right now. We want to make a push for a Super Bowl right now. That's why I think a team like the Detroit Lions with cap space, it would be a good trade partner. The question is, what could they get back? And because if you're the Chargers, you want assets. So is Khalil Mack worth a first? I don't think he's worth a first for the right to pay $23 million to. I don't even think he's worth a second. I think you're talking a 3rd-round pick here. The Lions have 2 of those, by the way. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Joey Bosa, even less. And Mike Williams, I think you'd be begging people. I think you may as well just cut. But that's what teams are doing right now. They're waiting to see if that's exactly what the Chargers are going to do. Are they going to cut these guys before? Because you have to get cap compliant by the league year, which I believe is the 11th. It might be the 13th, but I think it might be the 13th. But they have to get cap compliant. They can get cap compliant by releasing Mike Williams. Done. All right? They can get cap compliant by releasing Mike Williams, and they could also get cap compliant by releasing Keenan Allen. So those are the 2 guys they can get immediately, or Khalil Mack. Any of those 3 get released, they're cap compliant. You release all 3 of those guys, and all of a sudden they have $40 million in an ability to spend, and next year they have even more. But you're going to start paying more on Justin Herbert next year. So anyways, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this, is just like the Chargers are doing the right thing by saying we're willing to trade these people. It's a new regime. It's a new coaching staff, and they need to get their books in order to give this team a fighting chance. And the way in which they structured these salaries to be really big on the back end, rarely is that for someone to actually play on a $36, $37, $38, $34 million contract. That doesn't happen all the time, unless they're just an absolute stud. So I don't think, there's a reality where 3 of the 4 of these players are gone. There's a very stark reality where that is true. So anyways, they should be looking into this stuff, not because it's not that they don't want to be loyal, but because they need to give other players a chance to win. And in order to do that, you need to have more talent, and you can't have all your money tied up in just 4 guys. You have to be able to spread it around a little bit more. So that's where we're at, and they are really close to being in a good cap situation. A lot of dead money, but next year they're going to be in a very good cap situation. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next one.